What's going on, guys? Welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna talk about this beautiful fragrance that I was very lucky enough to put my hands on. Talking about Cielito Lindo by Rasei. I have it right here. It actually was a blind buy for me. And it was actually a very kind of scary, a very risky purchase because I'm not a blind buy type of guy. So I went ahead, I pulled the trigger on this fragrance, I dropped some coins to get it, and like I say, it was a little bit scary because according to the notes, there's something that I would like, but it's always a risk, you know. You can always see the note list and you think that's something that you would like, but when you actually smell the fragrance itself, it turns out that it doesn't smell that good. But uh, fortunately for me, it was something that just blew my mind. It smells really, really great, and I'm very happy with it. So, like I say, his name is Cielito Lindo by Rasei. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Sorry if I'm not. Cielito Lindo basically is a Spanish for uh, cute little sky, pretty little sky, somewhere around those lines, you know. And it's actually the name for a Mexican song, which is a very traditional song down there in Mexico, uh, very popular uh, amongst mariachi bands. So, according to Rasei, and all this information that I'm about to say, it comes from his own words. Actually, Rasei and myself, we have a couple of conversations, uh, and he explained to me all this information that I'm gonna about to give you. He visited Mexico, uh, and he go back to his place, you know, very happy. Uh, so he decided to pay homage to this beautiful country, to the warm and welcome people that he met in there. Of course, music and some of the food that he tried in there, and spot on one with his creation. It's a beautiful scent. Uh, this fragrance, I'm not really sure if it's like a limited edition type of scent. I'm not sure if it's a time limited edition as well. What I know is that it's pretty much sold out here in the US, but it's a release exclusively for Mexico. So probably if you look for this scent somewhere in Mexico, you're able to get it. And I'm gonna start showing you the presentation of this fragrance because it's beautiful. Here it is. I'm gonna call it a box. Obviously, it's not a box. It's pretty much like a wooden tube. It's actually is made of wood, as you guys can see right here in the inside of the tube. It's actually good, which is beautiful. It has this beautiful plaque with the name of the scent. Great, great, amazing. And actually, this is supposed to be the standard release, which is the all black out box. There's actually some more exclusive boxes down there in Mexico where you can actually find this pretty much the same box, if you will, but it has a more artsy type of things on the box. They I seen like a 10, 15 different type of art around the box. Very colorful, like Mexico type of traditional art. So don't be scared if you find one of those. It's legit. You're fine. You're actually found a more exclusive packaging than this, which like I said, is a standard um, box, if you will. And this is the actually bottle, which is gorgeous. It actually reminds me of a fancy tequila bottle, if I'm being honest, right? You can see right here in the front, it has like a very thin metal, probably aluminum plate. It is engraving, gorgeous, and bronze and black. You got all the information in there, and you can actually see right there in the front that it says Inspirado en Mexico, which is inspired by Mexico. The spritzer is just a basic black spritzer. It works really good. Not the greatest, but it does the work. Good and cap here. And what I found on these fragrances, I don't see any type of unique code or anything in the bottom of the bottle, so it is what it is. As long as you purchase your bottle from a reputable vendor, you should be fine. So, like I say, Rasei decided to pay homage to this country, his experiences and his moments that he spent in Mexico when he visited. So he decided to create this scent, and beautiful, Mr. Rasei, you did a really good job. I'm gonna start giving you guys some information about the scent. Stop with the rambling and all those things. The bottle comes in 100 ml, price for $240. That's the retail price. The notes on this scent are caramel, cinnamon, rose, tonka bean, labdanum, tequila, vanilla, sandalwood, and vetiver. Now, right off the bat, you guys can see a gourmand type of scent. And it is, but it's not your typical gourmand scent. It's not your extremely sweet and thick scent, because if you can see, you can also see some fresh notes in there. And it may sound kind of weird, but it's not. Believe me, it works beautiful. When you apply this fragrance, right off the bat, oh yeah, it's like in your face. And when I say in your face, it's not in a bad way. It's in a really good way. In your face, this strong, beautiful tequila note, very boozy, and you get right away. I don't know why it is not listed in the notes, but I can smell some freshness, like a lime in there, and a touch of salt. It's like basically like you're getting a tequila shot, right? I mean, you got the tequila, you got the lime in there, you got your pinch of salt. It's just like going downtown with a tequila shot, right? And definitely in the opening, there's a transparent rose note. It is not a feminine rose note at all. It is very safe. It's very mellow, but it's definitely there. Unfortunately on me, in the opening, yeah, it's like at this moment it start to changing. The opening doesn't last on me too long. The heavier notes start to kicking in right away, and it's not a bad thing at all. I'm just saying, you know, that I probably wish for the opening stays on me a little bit longer, but it doesn't. But the heavy notes, when I start playing, you got the cinnamon is kicking in right away. The tequila is mellowed. The booziness of the tequila is settling down. It's not as strong as at the beginning, but it's still there, definitely. Tonka bean, the cinnamon, and the caramelized vanilla is just coming to alive, you know. Very strong, but in a good way. What I was meant to say about it is a gourmand scent, but it's not as your regular gourmand, heavy, overly sweet gourmand, that it works really good for the cold weather. It is a gourmand, it is sweet, but it's not like overly powerfully sweet. It has some type of transparency, if that makes sense to you, which I love that, because it makes the scent more versatile than any other gourmand, and I love that about this scent. Now, the caramel in this fragrance, it is very important, because it plays a very important role on this scent, because Mr. Rasei wanted to create this dessert, which is very typical in Mexico, which is a flan. It's a FLAN, flan, which is a, like I said, very typical dessert in Mexico. It's pretty much a very dense, sweet, and caramelized vanilla type of dessert. Pretty much like a gelatin, like a jello type of dessert. But it has the consistency between, the texture is something between a pudding and a cake, something like in the middle, right? I would say probably close to a cheesecake. That's the closest texture that you can get. I'm giving you that explanation just in case you haven't tried a flan before, but I will encourage you to go to your local Hispanic market and get yourself a flan. Make yourself a favor and try one of those flan for yourself. And I feel that it's important to try one of those desserts, because that way you can understand the caramel note on this fragrance for sure. Because if you pay attention to the notes, you're gonna see that it's just caramel, and then you're probably gonna think that the caramel is not strong enough for you. The caramel is probably off to you, and it's not, because like I say, the perfumer is trying to recreate the flan taste, if you will, or smell in this fragrance, and it's spot on. Once you try a flan dessert and you go back and smell the scent, you're gonna say, oh my god, this juice, it really smells like a flan. Basically a flan, like I say, you get a spicy, thick, caramelized vanilla flavor on that dessert, and it is what it smells like. You get the vanilla, you get the sweetness, you get the caramel in there, and you get in the background the tequila still kicking in there. The rose is gone, and when the meat notes start playing around, and then for the dry down, you get the more thickness of the Tonka bean and the sandalwood, which grabs around all the other notes, and it dry downs pretty much in the same scent. It kind of goes a little bit linear if your nose is not trained to detect all these notes, but it's not bad at all. I mean, the scent itself is beautiful, so it's not a bad thing if it goes linear at all. Like I say, if you have a trained nose, you're probably gonna notice a few changes in there, but if you know, that's totally okay. As long as the juice smells really good, who cares, right? So the performance is great. Excellent projection for the first 2 hours. It's monster. It's a monster. After that, it settles down. It gets close to your skin, but it's still strong enough for any person that it gets into your personal space. It will definitely detect the scent itself. 8 hours, solid 8 hours for me. Obviously, it probably works different on your skin, but mine is solid 8 hours. And what I found on myself is that when I apply on my clothing as well, it lasts a little bit longer. Obviously, I don't apply all my fragrances on my clothing, but most of the time I do, because I don't know about you guys, but when I apply my fragrances, I usually take my shower, I get dressed, and I apply my fragrances. Obviously, I'm aiming for my skin, but obviously I'm gonna get some of the juice on my clothing. But with this one, I usually spray 2 more times in the chest on my shirt, and I'm good to go, and it lasts way longer. The opening stays on me a little bit longer, and I'm happy with that. But yeah, so I just want to say to all my peeps down in Mexico, congratulations guys. Bravo, you guys apparently made a big impact, and you guys leave a great impression on Mr. Rasei, that he decided to create this gorgeous scent. And to Mr. Rasei, sir, I take off my hat. You did a beautiful scent. As a good Mexican, I thank you very much for what you're creating here. This is just art in a bottle. Thank you very much. And excuse me. Yeah, used to wrap this video up, I just want to say that if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm very active in there, same as my name on this on YouTube, Cali Fragrances. You can find me in there. I usually do some reviews in there as well, and like I said, I'm very active in there. I can answer questions and messages more quicker than here. But yeah, anyways, hope you guys like this video. Comment down below, like the video, subscribe, let me know what you guys think about these fragrances. Let me know if you are a fan of the boozy notes, if you're a fan of the caramel. if you think that this scent smells kind of weird with the tequila and the sweet nose, which is not, believe me, I promise this fragrance is beautiful. Thank you very much, guys. See you next time.